In my third year of pursuing Lam Gundhan. All because I accidentally stained the dress of Tik Truk, his childhood friend. He led a group of people and openly bullied me. Fortunately, the system appeared just in time and announced that the mission had come to an end. I asked the system, "So, did I succeed?" The system replied, "Failure. You will remain in this world permanently. Your remaining accumulated points have been settled." I let out a cold, humorless laugh. Then take back everything I ever spent points on for Lam Gundhan. The school gate was crowded with students coming and going. Lam Gundhan instinctively shielded Tik Truk behind him and shoved me hard to the ground. Before I could regain my balance, his condescending voice sounded from above. "Sorry, watch where you're going." Pain shot through my body as I lifted my head, my expression icy. She deliberately ran into me. That's why the coffee spilled onto her dress. As soon as I finished speaking, Tik Truk peeked out from behind Lam Gundhan, her face filled with grievance. "Miss Nan, I know you resent me because of Gundhan, but you can't turn things around like this. This dress was a birthday gift from my mother. How could I possibly use it to frame you?" Lam Gundhan frowned deeply, his face full of disgust. "That's enough, Nan Truk. Even causing trouble has its limits. Don't think that just because you're the heiress of the Nan family, everyone has to indulge you. I'm not going to cater to your princess behavior. Apologize, now." I remained expressionless. I could compensate her for the dress, but I didn't do anything wrong. On what grounds did he think he could force me to apologize? Did she really think everyone coveted her filthy money? Lam Gundhan took Tik Truk's hand and said coldly, "If you don't apologize, then don't ever appear in front of me again. From today on, I'm cutting off all ties with you." He thought those words would intimidate me. After saying that, he walked away arrogantly with Tik Truk. They hadn't gone far when their conversation clearly reached my ears. "Then, wasn't that a bit too harsh? What if Miss Nan gets angry?" Lam Gundhan sneered. "She ruined your dress. I'm already being merciful by not beating her up. Besides, she sticks to me like a leech. Even if she gets angry, she'll come crawling back soon enough." Students continued to pass by the school gate. Witnessing the scene, they exchanged looks and smiled with malicious delight. Lam Gundhan and Tik Truk really look perfect together. If Nan Truk hadn't used sponsorship as an excuse to get close to him, he wouldn't even give her a second glance. Luckily, the college entrance exams are coming up. As long as Lam Gundhan gets into a sports university, he can join the national basketball team. With a future like that, he won't need Nan Truk's dirty money anymore. How could a spoiled, princess-type decoration like Nan Truk ever compare to Tik Truk? I watched Lam Gundhan's decisive retreating figure. Before I could even process what I was feeling, a mechanical voice suddenly sounded in my head. "Hello, host Nan Truk. The mission has ended. Your remaining points have been settled." I asked indifferently. Did I succeed? Failure. I wasn't surprised by the result. 3 years ago, after dying in a traffic accident in the real world, I transmigrated into this world as Nan Truk, a wealthy heiress. The rules were simple. If I completed the system's objective with Lam Gundhan, I would be revived in the real world. If I failed, I would be trapped in this world forever. Lam Gundhan grew up in an orphanage. He was lonely and withdrawn, and only Tik Truk had ever brought warmth into his life. It had taken him enormous effort to earn a chance at the national team through basketball. Then, due to an accident, he broke his arm and nearly had to give up the sport entirely. After I appeared, I poured an immense amount of money and resources into Lam Gundhan. When he had no money, I sponsored him. I even gave him one of my secondary cards to spend freely. When his arm was broken, I used the points I had painstakingly accumulated to restore his hands completely. Even when his academic performance dropped and he couldn't get into a sports university, I was the one who hired renowned tutors to coach him. And yet, in the end, the mission still failed. The system reminded me. Host non-truck. You have 500 points remaining. Would you like to exchange anything? I looked at the system store with a mocking expression. 500 points couldn't even buy a bottle of water. Seeing my silence, the system prompted. The store supports item retrieval. I widened my eyes. You mean everything I exchanged before can be taken back? Yes, but only 80% of the value will be refunded. I laughed out loud. That's more than enough. The healthy hands, exceptional learning ability, and outstanding talent I exchanged for Lamb Gun then cost me a full 100,000 points. Retrieve everything I ever exchanged for Lamb Gun then. After the transaction was completed, the system disappeared. This wasn't the first time it vanished, but I knew it was the last. From this moment on, I would remain in this world forever. I adjusted my emotions and returned to the classroom. The class monitor was collecting registrations for the graduation talent showcase. In my class, only Tick Truck had signed up. Each class was allowed only one slot. Tick Truck had studied dance since childhood and had a solid foundation. No one in the class competed with her, in fact, everyone was praising her. Tick Truck really is outstanding, great grades, and she can dance too. No wonder Lamb Gun then would rather reject a rich heiress like non-truck just to pursue her. A satisfied smile appeared on Tick Truck's face, though she still tried to appear modest. That was, until I handed my registration form to the class monitor. The classroom fell silent for a brief moment before whispers erupted. What is that decorative vase non-truck trying to do? She must be deliberately picking a fight with Tick Truck. Everyone knows Lamb Gun then likes the capable Tick Truck. How does non-truck think she's qualified to compete? She's just embarrassing herself. Seeing Tick Truck's expression darken slightly, her friends hurried to comfort her. Truck, don't mind her. Everyone knows non-truck is a spoiled princess with no real talent. Even if she signs up, she won't beat you. Tick Truck lowered her eyes, hiding the panic and jealousy in them. Others might not know, but she had personally seen me play the violin. That level of skill was absolutely not something she could compare to. Sure enough, a few days later, the preliminary results were announced. With an almost perfect score, I defeated Tick Truck and secured the performance slot. The list was posted on the bulletin board. As I passed by, everyone's eyes turned toward me. How does non-truck still have the nerve to show her face? After doing something so shameless, her skin must be thicker than normal people's. Did she come here to show off? Hurry up and apologize to Tick Truck. I ignored the whispers and turned to leave, my face expressionless. At that moment, a basketball suddenly flew toward me and slammed into the ground just half a meter in front of my feet. The crowd parted. Lamb Gun then, dragging Tick Truck, who was in tears, blocked my path aggressively. Non-truck, apologize to a truck right now. Then go to the teacher and give the performance slot back to her. I looked at him coldly. If I wasn't mistaken, the basketball had been thrown directly at me, but it had stopped short. With Lamb Gun Then's shooting ability, there was no way he could have missed like that. It seemed the system's retrieval was already taking effect. I sneered and looked at Tick Truck with mockery. What's wrong? You couldn't beat me, so you went to get back up? Her face stiffened, and her tears flowed even more freely. The next second, she put on a pitiful expression and tried to kneel in front of me. Miss Non, I know I shouldn't offend you, but who Gun Then likes isn't something I can control. You can't take away my performance opportunity just because you're jealous of me. Do you know how long I've prepared for this? Lamb Gun then pulled her into his arms, gritting his teeth as he glared at me. Why are you apologizing to someone like her? This is clearly her fault. Non-truck, I used to think you were just an arrogant rich girl, but this time you've gone too far. If you don't apologize and give up the performance slot, I won't accept a single bit of your so-called charity ever again. I looked at the ridiculous man and woman in front of me and said coldly. If you doubt the competition results, then go ask the school. If you don't have evidence, Don't spread baseless rumors. Is it really that hard to admit you're inferior? And as for you, why don't you open your banking app and take a look right now? After hearing my words, Lam Gun then frowned deeply and opened his banking app. The latest notification appeared clearly on the screen. The supplementary card linked to your account has been cancelled by the cardholder non-truck. Lam Gun Than's expression changed instantly. But soon after, he let out a scornful laugh. Non-truck, do you really think using this kind of trick can force me to compromise? If it had been before, he might indeed have given in for the sake of money. But now, passing the entrance exam to the sports university and entering the national team was already a done deal for him. Once that happened, he would be living on a government salary, with both money and reputation guaranteed. He wouldn't need to watch the mood of a merchant's daughter like me ever again. I rolled my eyes impatiently. The money I gave you people before, consider it charity. Feeding stray dogs. From now on, don't appear in front of me again just to seek a sense of existence. Tick Truck stared at me in disbelief. Non-truck, you're the one who's been obsessively clinging to Gun and targeting me everywhere. How can you turn around and slander me like this? I sneered. Are you stupid, you green tea bitch? Didn't you understand what I said? I pursued Lam Gun before. And he took plenty of benefits from me. Don't act smug after gaining advantages. Tick Truck immediately started crying again. Gun non-truck must be furious with me. That's why she's treating you like this. It's all my fault. I should stay away from you in the future. Lam Gun then quickly grabbed her hand, his eyes full of disgust as he looked at me. He had originally thought I truly intended to cut ties with him. But seeing me scold Tick Truck like this, he immediately assumed I was just throwing another spoiled rich girl tantrum, waiting for him to coax me back. That only made him despise me even more. Non-truck, you said these words yourself, he said coldly. Today, you humiliated me in a truck. I'll remember this. Even if you cry and beg me in the future, I won't spare you a single glance. I scoffed and turned around to leave. Lam Gun then was furious, his face turning green. He pulled Tick Truck, preparing to leave. Tick Truck's eyes were red with tears. But Gun what about my performance slot? Lam Gun then replied icily. A useless person like non-truck would only make a fool of herself on stage. In the future, when I join the national team, I'll recommend you to the cheer squad, something 10,000 times better than that trash. With me here, you don't need to beg her. Hearing his promise, Tick Truck finally relaxed. She shot me a provocative glance. Gun you're right, I wouldn't even want something that relies on connections instead of real ability. The two of them indulged in their self-delusion for a while before leaving together. From that day on, whenever Lam Gun saw me at school, he wouldn't even glance at me, and I was no longer like before, running over with a bright smile whenever I saw him. That weekend, I returned home. The housekeeper carried a stack of envelopes into my room. All of them were addressed to Lam Gun. Over the past 3 years, aside from approaching him at school and giving him a supplementary card, I had also supported him under the anonymous identity Kyo, even exchanging letters with him. The 100,000 points I accumulated came precisely from using the identity of Kyo to grind his favorability to nearly 80. In his eyes, Kyo was a soulmate, someone he cared about more than anyone except Tick Truck. This week alone, Lam Gun had written me 3 letters. I casually opened the most recent one. As expected, it was filled with bitter complaints about me. Non-truck is the most disgusting woman I've ever met. She's nothing but someone who relies on money. My achievements will eventually become something she can never reach. She'll definitely regret it. You're also a rich girl. But you're completely different from her. You're the girl who understands me best. After I graduate, get into the sports university, and join the national team. Can I meet you once? Looking at those words, I let out a contemptuous laugh. This wasn't the first time he had asked to meet me. His tone was always gentle yet probing. once making me foolishly believe that what he felt for Tik-Truk was merely dependence born of hardship, while what he felt for me was love. Men are truly laughable. I didn't even bother opening the remaining letters. I called the housekeeper over and, under her shocked gaze, had her throw away every single letter he'd ever sent. She hesitated for a moment before asking carefully, "Then, what about this month's sponsorship money?" "I'm cutting it off," I said without turning back. Lam Gun then waited anxiously for an entire week, but never received a reply from Kyo. If this had been before, the reply letter and sponsorship money would have arrived long ago. Perhaps Kyo was just busy this time. Someone as gentle and kind as Kyo would never default on money. Luckily, he still had some savings. He could barely get through this week. Next week, once Kyo transferred the money, everything would be fine. No matter what, he absolutely would not go looking for non-truck. Monday afternoon was PE class. My class and Lam Gunthan's class 1 had a basketball match. The stands were packed. Nearly the entire gymnasium was full. After all, Lam Gunthan was a reserve member of the national team. No one on my class's team held much hope. Before the game started, the PE committee member told Tik-Truk and another male student to go buy drinks. Tik-Truk's eyes immediately filled with tears again. "Can't someone else go? I want to watch Gunthan play. If he doesn't see me, he'll worry." The committee member frowned. "But it's your turn for duty today. Those are the rules. Why don't you ask if anyone's willing to volunteer?" It was already May, the temperature outside was high, and the round trip to the cafeteria would take at least half an hour. No one wanted to go. Tik-Truk's gaze swept across the class and suddenly stopped on me. My eyelid twitched. Sure enough, the next second she walked over, her voice filled with grievance. "Non-truck, could you help buy the drinks? Gunthan doesn't want to see you anyway, so it wouldn't matter if you went." I replied expressionlessly, "No." Tears streamed down Tik-Truk's face. "Non-truck, can't you be more considerate? This game is very important to me and Gunthan." "What does that have to do with me?" The commotion caught Lam Gunthan's attention, and he strode over. "Non-truck, didn't we agree to stay out of each other's lives? Why are you bullying a truck again?" Tik-Truk was about to put on her pitiful act and complain. But the PE committee member cut in immediately. "This has nothing to do with non-truck." Lam Gunthan shot him a vicious glare and sneered. "What, trying to suck up to non-truck? What's worth defending about a princess syndrome girl like her?" The committee member didn't bother arguing. He turned to Tik-Truk. "The game's about to start. Go buy the drinks." Lam Gunthan exploded. "It's scorching outside, and you're making a fragile girl like a truck go buy drinks?" Then he turned to me and ordered coldly, "Non-truck, you go." He stood above me, looking down. Before, he often ordered me around like this. He believed that with just one sentence, a proud young lady like me would obediently bend over backward for him. But now, I didn't even spare him a glance. The committee member frowned. "This is our class's business. It's not for outsiders like you to interfere." Seeing that Tik-Truk stubbornly refused to move and the game was about to start, he sighed. "Forget it, I'll go buy them myself. Tik-Truk, I'll report what happened today to the homeroom teacher." Lam Gunthan had been humiliated repeatedly. His face was naturally ugly. He vented all his anger on me. "Very well, non-truck, looks like you've made up your mind to go against me. Don't regret it." Then he glared at the committee member. "I was planning to go easy on you this game. But if you dare report a truck, don't blame me for playing for real. By then, your teachers won't have the mood to worry about a truck. They'll be too busy dealing with you." With that, he slammed the basketball onto the floor, shot a provocative look at my class's players, and walked back onto the court. I narrowed my eyes, watching him repeatedly adjust the wrist guard on his arm. When I had just earned 50,000 points before, I had eagerly exchanged them for a pair of healthy hands for Lam Gunthan. So I had never seen what his real skill would be like if he were injured. Now, Let everything return to the starting line. I leaned back leisurely against my chair, full of anticipation as I looked toward the center of the court. Lam Gundhan didn't enter the game until the second half. My class seized the opportunity, determined to rack up as many points as possible. So they played with explosive energy in the first half. Unexpectedly, we ended up leading the other class. Seeing this, Tick Truck showed no sign of panic at all. Instead, she curled her lips into a smug smile and glanced toward the PE committee member. I don't really want our class to lose too badly, she said sweetly. Why don't you order Non-Truck to go buy drinks? I'll tell Gundhan to go easy on you guys. The committee member shot her a cold look. No need. Tick Truck pouted, looking wronged. Non-Truck just has a few dirty coins. That's all. Is it really necessary for you to flatter her like this? Today, Gundhan and I will show you that not everything can be solved with money. The game quickly entered the second half. My class was leading by 6 points. The opposing team immediately sent Lam Gundhan onto the court. Through the crowd, he looked straight at me and raised his middle finger provocatively. Almost everyone instinctively turned to look at me. So bold earlier, just wait until she gets slapped in the face later. Exactly. No girl can stay calm watching Lam Gundhan play basketball. He already gave her a chance. She just didn't know how to treasure it. I'm ready to watch Non-Truck cry and beg him to make up. Ignoring the whispers, I took a cold sip of water and focused my gaze on the court. The referee's whistle blew. Lam Gundhan leapt up instinctively to fight for the ball, his face filled with impatience and confidence. In his eyes, a game like this was nothing more than child's play. Crushing a bunch of high school students would be effortless. But the next second, his wrist suddenly stiffened. The basketball that should have landed perfectly in his hand slipped free and fell straight into the hands of my class. Lam Gundhan stared at his own hands in disbelief. Gundhan, you don't need to go easy on them like this, right? Yeah, you already let them show off in the first half. Second half, time to take the points back. Teasing voices from his teammates rang in his ears. Lam Gundhan snapped back to reality and forced himself to steady his breathing. He thought it was just insufficient warm-up. But for the rest of the game, his wrist remained rigid. Forget performing at his usual level, he was playing even worse than the teammate who had just been substituted out. Shock, doubt, panic. All kinds of emotions flooded Lam Gundhan's mind. When the final whistle blew, his class had actually lost to mine by a staggering 20 points. The PE committee members stared in disbelief. My entire class, except Tick Truck, burst into cheers. Lam Gundhan's expression was extremely complicated. By instinct, he looked toward where I was sitting. Meeting his dark gaze, I slowly curled my lips upward and raised my middle finger back at him. His already ugly expression turned pitch black. The next second, he stormed straight toward me. Non-Truck, what the hell is that supposed to mean? I smiled faintly. What, isn't this the gesture you used on me? I thought you liked it. He was about to lunge forward when the PE committee member led several players to block him. Protecting me. You lost on your own. Why are you taking it out on Non-Truck? Don't tell me you can't accept the loss? Lam Gundhan glared at them viciously. What are you so smug about? I was just off my game. An old injury flared up. That's all. I'm a reserve member of the national team. Since when do shrimps like you get to mock me? The committee member rolled his eyes in disgust. A national team member who couldn't even catch a single ball. I burst out laughing. Seeing Lam Gundhan at a disadvantage, Tick Truck hurried over to defend him. You guys are going too far. Even if Gundhan made a mistake once, his future is still bright. But you're all sucking up to Non-Truck like this. Do you have any self-respect at all? Did she give you any benefits? She and Gundhan are just having a lover's quarrel. Sooner or later she'll come crawling back to him. When that happens, you'll be the real clowns. Everyone's faces darkened. Only Lam Gundhan puffed out his chest smugly. Before his smile could fully spread, I spoke coldly. Enough. Stop listening to dogs barking. I've booked a private room at a 5-star hotel. Except for Tick Truck, everyone's invited tonight to celebrate. The entire class's eyes lit up. Holy crap, thanks, young miss. While we were packing up, Lamb Gun then walked back toward his class. His face as dark as the bottom of a pot. His teammates rushed to comfort him. Don't be discouraged, brother Than. Everyone has off days. Yeah, it's over anyway. Let's think about where to hang out. Didn't you say you'd treat everyone tonight? Bathed in their flattery, Lamb Gun then regained some confidence. But when he saw the notification about the cancelled supplementary card and the balance, less than $1, his expression worsened. With so many people, one outing would cost several thousand, and Kaio's sponsorship still hadn't arrived. So just as I was about to leave, Lamb Gun Than's voice rang out behind me, dripping with condescension. Non-truck, I won't argue about earlier. I need to take everyone out tonight, give me 10,000 first. I turned around expressionlessly and met his arrogant, downward gaze. I sneered. On what grounds should I give you money? Lamb Gun then grew impatient, lifting his nose at me. Why so troublesome? If I tell you to give it, then give it. Oh right, I blocked your WeChat earlier. He tapped his phone twice. All right, unblocked now, no excuses left, transfer the money. If not, don't blame me for blocking you again. The tone made it sound like he'd granted me some great favor. His friends chimed in eagerly. After treating brother Than like that today, he still unblocked you, you must be so touched. 10,000 isn't enough, non-truck is rich, transfer 50,000 for us to play. Lamb Gun then looked at me with disgust. I don't want her money. This 10,000 is just giving her a chance. I won't take a single cent more. He threw one last sentence at me, transfer it before 6 p.m., then grabbed Tick Truck's hand and left arrogantly. They hadn't gone far when their voices drifted back. What if non-truck doesn't give the money? If she doesn't, I'll block her forever. That scares her the most. Good, don't forgive her. She's isolating me from the whole class. They're all spineless people who follow money. They're not worth associating with. Watching their confident backs, I opened my phone and nearly laughed out loud. I almost forgot to block his number. The celebration ended at 10 p.m. Just as I was about to call a car home, a furious figure suddenly charged toward me. Before I could react, I was shoved hard to the ground. Above my head, Lamb Gun Than's furious voice exploded. Non-truck, even arrogance has limits. Do you think I'll tolerate your princess attitude forever? To me, you're not even worth shit. I lifted my head coldly, meeting the creditor-like faces of Lamb Gun Than and Tick Truck. Maybe it's because her glare was too scary. Tick Truck sobbed. Non-truck, don't blame Gun Than. Do you know how badly you embarrassed him today? He only pushed you a little. Don't be angry, okay? I'm angry at your entire damn family. I pulled out my phone and called the police directly. If you want to bark, save it for the cops. Seeing I was serious, Lamb Gun then lunged to snatch my phone. Non-truck, what right do you have to call the police? If you hadn't blocked me and made me unable to pay, would I have been humiliated like this? Even if I beat you to death, you'd deserve it. Isn't it just because I didn't indulge your princess disease? Even if you chased me for another 10 years, I still wouldn't look at you. His face turned livid, thinking about how he had loudly declared he'd treat everyone, only to discover at checkout that I'd blocked him. He was furious enough to want to kill me on the spot. I ignored him completely, finished reporting to the police, and sneered. Wake up, you were the one begging me for money. To me, you're just a beggar. You treat me how you like, I'll return the favor. Fine, very fine. Unexpectedly, Lamb Gun then laughed instead of getting angry. So you changed tactics? Too bad. No matter what tricks you use, I won't spare you a glance. If it weren't for your money threatening me before, even talking to you made me sick. I'm about to join the national team. Don't come crying and begging me later. As he finished speaking, The police arrived. Tick Truck stared in disbelief. You actually dared to call the police? Aren't you afraid Gunthan will never care about you again? I pointed at the deranged couple. They suddenly went crazy and assaulted me. We were taken to the station to give statements. Since it was only a civil dispute, the two of them were reprimanded and released. Standing outside the police station, Lam Gunthan's impulsive rage had finally cooled somewhat. He ground his teeth and stared at me viciously. Non-Truck, remember this well, you were the one who tore the mask off first. From now on, even if you kneel down and beg me, don't even dream that I'll look at you one more time. On the other hand, Tick Truck gently tugged at the corner of his sleeve, her voice pitiful. Gunthan, Non-Truck has really made up her mind to fall out with you. Then, the 10,000 yuan, if I advance it for you first. Will she pay me back? Lam Gunthan's expression stiffened. He reassured Tick Truck. Don't worry, tomorrow I'll write to Kyo and ask her to send a bit more sponsorship money this month. I'll return it to you then. After saying that, he shot me a frosty glare. We're both rich girls, but Kyo understands people so well, while some people rely on a few dirty coins and act arrogant and overbearing, thinking they're some kind of princess. Only girls like Kyo are worthy of my gratitude after I succeed. Hearing this, Tick Truck finally relaxed. She flattered him eagerly. Of course, your future is limitless. Don't forget me when you make it big. Don't worry, you're the most important person to me. Tick Truck cast me a smug sideways glance. I didn't even bother turning my head. I got into the car directly and instructed my father's assistant to block all forms of contact with Lam Gunthan. Perhaps he still didn't know. The Kyo who understands people so well, that he kept mentioning, was actually me. Sure enough, when I saw Lam Gunthan again a week later, his complexion looked even worse. His entire body radiated gloom. Outside the classroom corridor, Tick Truck was sobbing and pleading with him. Gunthan, didn't you say you'd return the money this week? That's money I saved over 3 years. Students passing by cast curious looks, almost thinking he was bullying her. In the past, Lam Gunthan liked Tick Truck's fragility, but now, seeing her cry so weakly only made him feel irritated. He said impatiently, I know, isn't it because something happened on Kyo's side? I'll find a way to pay you back. Don't forget, once I join the national team, do you think I'll still be short of money? Tick Truck's tone carried a hint of resentment. But that's still far away. Why don't you ask Non-Truck to give the money to me first? She said this just as I was walking past. Immediately, Lam Gunthan shot me a hateful glare. Non-Truck, you must be feeling very pleased right now. Huh? Were you waiting for this day? Too bad, you miscalculated. No matter what, I will never bow my head to you. Then he glanced at Tick Truck. I already said I'd pay you back. Why are you forcing me to bow to this woman? You used to have principles. Now you're nitpicking over a bit of money? Haven't I always been generous to you before? Seeing his anger rise, Tick Truck panicked. I didn't mean that, I just said it without thinking. But in Lam Gunthan's heart, she had already been lumped together with everyone else, people who doubted and looked down on him. Disappointment and rage surged inside him. He pointed straight at me, but his words were clearly meant for both of us. I'll remember today's humiliation, after the college entrance exam, when I get my admission letter from the sports university and join the national team. You'll regret this. With that, he stormed off without sparing anyone another glance. Watching his confident retreating figure, I slowly curled my lips into a smile. If I remember correctly, since entering senior year, Lam Gunthan had barely studied at all. His grades were originally only average. Before, he at least tried, but after I realized he couldn't get into a sports university and couldn't fulfill his dream of joining the national team, I spent money hiring famous tutors to teach him one-on-one. Knowing his academic ability was limited, I understood tutoring alone might not be enough. So I spent 20,000 system points to exchange for a higher IQ for him. Under both hard and soft pressure, his grades barely reached the threshold of the sports university. But now, he had skipped tutoring for over a month. And the IQ I exchanged for him had already been reclaimed. What confidence did he have left to pass the entrance exam? If he couldn't get in, how would he ever join the national team? After that incident, Lam Gundhan disappeared for quite some time. Until after the college entrance exam. On graduation performance day, I stood on stage playing the violin, receiving a storm of praise from everyone. Those who once shouted that I relied on connections to steal TikTok's performance slot were now completely silenced by my actual skill. Damn, no one told me Non-Truck played this well. I really thought she got in through the back door before. She won this opportunity entirely by ability. They suddenly realized something and subtly looked in one direction. There, TikTok bit her lip tightly, staring at me on stage as if she wanted to bore a hole through me. Suddenly, she seemed to think of something and stood up, leaving her seat. After the performance, I returned backstage, only to unexpectedly run into Lam Gundhan. He had clearly just watched my performance. Leaning against the wall, he examined me carefully. When did you start learning the violin? Non-Truck? What does that have to do with you? I tried to close the door, but he blocked it. I said coldly, get lost. If I had said that before, Lam Gundhan would have exploded. But now, he looked down at me and said, I'll admit it, Non-Truck, your soft tactics have sparked a bit of my interest. But don't get cocky, I'm only interested. Not even close to liking you. I have nothing to do with you. He choked briefly before continuing. All right, stop acting. We're about to graduate. I'll walk my bright official path. And you're not on the same level as me. If you apologize now, it's still not too late. My response was the loud slam of the door. He pounded on it angrily. Non-Truck, I'm giving you one last chance. Just apologize, and I can still reluctantly be friends with you. I rolled my eyes and ignored him, preparing to remove my makeup. Then I heard TikTok's voice. Gundhan, what are you doing here? Lam Gundhan thought he was being generous, considering Non-Truck once chased after him, by giving her a chance. Since she didn't cherish it, he wouldn't blame himself for turning ruthless. TikTok asked softly. Gundhan, do you like her now? He immediately denied it with disgust. How could I, even if the entire Non family handed over all their assets? I would never like that kind of woman. What about me then? TikTok asked. You're different, he said. You're the purest girl I've ever met. Untouched by money, not materialistic at all. I'll definitely treat you well in the future. TikTok finally felt reassured. He still owed her money, if not for his supposed future as a national team player. She wouldn't have believed him at all. Perhaps feeling he'd neglected her lately. His voice softened. All right, a truck. Don't be angry. I know she showed off and made you unhappy. But so what? You're smart. This college exam. You'll definitely get into Peking University. As for Non-Truck, she's always at the bottom. With her grades, she'll probably just get sent abroad by her family and live as a useless burden forever. How could she compare to you? TikTok stopped crying and smiled. That's right. Our future is bright. She's just a useless hanger-on. Forget comparing with someone as outstanding as you. Even I'm far beyond her. Their overconfident words reached my ears. My hands didn't shake as I removed my makeup. They weren't wrong. I truly hadn't studied before. I always ranked last. But that was only because I never considered this world real. I treated everything as a game and never took studying seriously. What they didn't know was, all the system points that were reclaimed earlier had already been exchanged by me into IQ, business talent, and many other attributes. Not a single point was left for Lam Gundhan. System products were, as always, top tier. When the exam results were released, I scored nearly 700 points. My entire family was shocked. They suddenly discovered my academic talent and decided to nurture me seriously. My father even set aside several days to personally take me on campus visits to top universities, just to choose the one best suited for me. Across from Peking University stood Beijing Sports University, Lam Gunthan's dream school. I wondered how he was doing now. As I was thinking, I suddenly spotted a familiar figure at the school gate. It was Lam Gunthan. At that moment, he was desperately clinging to a suited man, his face full of pleading. "Mr. Xie, I beg you, I really just made a mistake during the exam. I don't even know why. My scores were clearly enough for the sports university. Could you please give me another chance?" The man sighed helplessly. "You should know, there are countless outstanding young athletes nationwide. Without graduating from a sports university, your starting point will be much lower." Lam Gun then hurriedly assured him. "I know, but I'm different. My basketball skills are exceptional, enough to make up for my academic shortcomings. Please give me one more chance." Mr. Xie sighed again and glanced at the basketball court nearby. Then he said, "The basketball team at the sports university is filled with elites. If you can consecutively defeat 3 of them, I'll give you another chance to repeat a year." Hearing this, Lam Gunthan's eyes lit up. He thanked him repeatedly and rushed toward the court. No matter what, this time, he had to win. After all, he had once sworn he would definitely get into Beijing Sports University. However, when Lam Gunthan got the basketball back in his hands, he suddenly realized something was seriously wrong with his wrist. I watched him miss shot after shot. My expression remained indifferent as I calmly withdrew my gaze. All that confidence, yet this was all he was capable of. How could this happen? Lam Gunthan stared in disbelief as the ball was stolen from him again. The blow crushing his pride. Impatience was clearly written on Mr. Xia's face. "It seems that now you're not only bad at studying, your basketball skills aren't impressive either. My time is valuable. Goodbye." No, Mr. Xie, this was just an accident." Lam Gunthan panicked. "My hand was injured before, but it already healed. I don't know why something went wrong today. Please, give me another chance." "You were injured before?" Mr. Xie said coldly. "Then all the more reason not to give you one. I've already given you more than enough chances." With that, Mr. Xie decisively got into his car. Watching the car drive away, Lam Gunthan felt as though his entire body had gone ice cold. It was over. He failed to get into Beijing Sports University. He failed to enter the national team. Even the basketball skills he had always been proud of had deteriorated drastically. But hadn't his wrist already healed completely? Why did it suddenly fail him again? With a useless hand like this, could he even hold a basketball anymore? Did he still have any chance of entering the national team? Was his life basically finished? Just as despair nearly swallowed him whole, his peripheral vision suddenly caught sight of me. Like a drowning man grabbing onto driftwood. Like drought-stricken land finally meeting rain. Lam Gunthan's eyes lit up. He strode toward me in long steps. "Non-truck, you knew I'd be here today, didn't you? That's why you came specifically to block my path." "I knew it. You've just been acting stubborn all this time. You still haven't truly let me go. Since you came all this way, I'll forgive your willfulness and arrogance. As long as you listen to me from now on, I can consider accepting you back." After saying that, he lifted his chin, standing in front of me as if waiting for me to kneel down and thank him for his mercy. "Who are you?" I rolled my eyes in disdain and pointed at the Peking University sign behind him. "Move aside, I'm here to tour the campus." He frowned. "Why are you visiting Peking University? With your bottom-ranked grades. Don't come here and embarrass yourself." That sentence angered my father. With a proud, firm voice, my father declared, "My daughter scored 698 points on the college entrance exam. Getting into Peking University is effortless for her. And you, since you're so arrogant, may I ask how many points you scored?" Lam Gundhan was pushed aside by my family's bodyguards. Before leaving, he gritted his teeth and shouted. Non-truck, don't overestimate yourself. Even if I don't get into Beijing Sports University, even if I don't enter the national team, I still don't need to beg you. Besides you, there are still other people who like me. She's also a rich young lady, far richer and gentler than you. Oh? I smiled faintly. You're not talking about Kaio, are you? At the mention of that name, Lam Gundhan immediately grew alert, staring at me. How do you know her? Do you know her, or did you investigate her? Countless possibilities flashed through his mind. His face darkened further and further. No wonder Kaio has been silent lately. Was it because of you? Non-truck, you vicious woman, if you have a problem, come at me. What's the point of bullying the people around me? Before he could start shouting, my father, his face dark as thunder, turned to me and asked. My dear daughter, is this the person you asked me to secretly sponsor before? How did he turn out like this? I sighed helplessly. Dad, I already stopped sponsoring him. Just ignore him from now on. Hearing our conversation, Lam Gundhan's eyelids twitched violently. He couldn't believe it, yet forced himself to ask. What do you mean by that? My father looked at him as if he were an idiot and explained patiently. Word by word, like teaching an elementary school student. Kaio. The character, Kai, with the mouth radical, and, oh, without the rice radical, those two characters come directly from my daughter's name. The kind, gentle sponsor you keep talking about is my daughter, non-truck. The moment those words fell, Lam Gundhan's pupils shrank violently. He stared at me in utter disbelief. You're Kaio? How could you be Kaio? She's gentle, considerate, understanding. How could she be a vicious woman like you? Before I could even respond, he bombarded me with frantic questions. I sneered, too lazy to answer his stupidity. My father, looking at him like a clown, said coldly, if it weren't for preserving your pitiful self-esteem, do you really think my daughter would bother wasting so much effort on you? Looking at you now, you're both ridiculous and hateful. Get lost. With that, my father led me straight into Peking University. No matter how Lam Gundhan screamed helplessly behind us, we never once looked back. He tried to rush in after us, but Peking University's security wasn't decorative. He stared at my retreating figure, whether from rage or some other emotion. His eyes turned bloodshot. At that moment, countless thoughts flooded his mind. Basketball. The university he failed to enter. But the thing he thought about the most was the secondary bank card I had once given him. Hadn't everything he worked so hard for ultimately been about money and status? Yet those things had once been handed to him effortlessly, just by reaching out. After finishing the campus tour, it was already 4 p.m. When I came back out, Lam Gundhan was still standing at the school gate. The sharp edges around him were gone. Seeing me, he sighed helplessly and spoke in what he thought was a compromising tone. All right, non-truck, let's stop making a mess. I'll admit it, what happened before was my fault. I didn't know what you had done for me. Let's start over. I won't act like that again. Okay? I looked at him with curiosity. Well, finally lowering that noble head of yours? Is it because you truly realized you were wrong? Or because you've hit a dead end and have no other way out? Hearing my sarcasm, his face stiffened. Suppressing his anger, he took a deep breath. I know you resent me for my feelings toward a truck. But I can promise you, from now on, I'll only treat her like a younger sister. I'll help her within my means, but I'll never share any other feelings. I'll devote myself entirely to you. That should reassure you, right? Reassure me? I raised an eyebrow and looked past him. Behind him stood Tick Truck, frozen in shock. Gundhan, what are you saying? Have you forgotten everything you promised me? Are you abandoning me? He turned around in surprise. panic flashing through his eyes, but quickly regained his composure. I'm doing this for your own good. I have nothing now. This is the only way to leave you a way out. You should understand. Besides, you can't help me at all. A man as outstanding as him, how could he accept an ordinary life? The weak, pitiful look on Tick Truck's face vanished. Her eyes turned vicious, her voice sharp. Lam Gundhan, don't forget who stayed by your side when you were at your lowest. You still owe me money. Are you planning to default? Tick Truck, do you hear what you're saying? He looked utterly disappointed. I never thought you'd say something like that. So in your heart, I'm already a heartless betrayer? Fine. From today on, we draw a clear line. Since Non-Truck is here, I'll make it clear in front of her so she can be at ease. But when he turned around, I was already gone. There was no one behind him. Lam Gundhan couldn't accept it. He had already lowered his head, already compromised, yet I still walked away. Did I truly no longer care about him at all? An intense unwillingness and fear surged in his heart. He didn't even notice the increasingly hateful gaze in Tick Truck's eyes as he abandoned her and tried to chase after my car. Just as he moved, Tick Truck suddenly lunged at him like a madwoman. Lam Gundhan, it's all your fault. If it weren't for you, how would I have offended Non-Truck? How would I have lost my graduation performance and the bonus points? I was only 3 points short of getting into Peking University. Just 3 bonus points. You still owe me 10,000 yuan. Are you just going to dump me like this? How dare you? What does this lunatic have to do with me? Lam Gundhan shouted back. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for being useless. The two of them began pushing and shoving in the middle of the busy road. Tick Truck had completely lost her mind. Suddenly, she grabbed him and rushed straight into oncoming traffic. My future is ruined, don't even think about living peacefully. Die with me. When I heard news of them again. It was half a month later. Lam Gundhan had become a vegetative patient, taken back to his hometown by relatives for care. Tick Truck survived, but one of her legs was permanently crippled. As for me, the one who stayed behind in this world, holding nearly maxed out attributes exchanged from the system, I suddenly felt that staying here might actually be quite interesting after all. That's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, subscribe to China Story Tales, and stay tuned for more stories.